Here I am being the pillow hoarder. I have people that request that I show them as much home decor as I can, so that is what I'm doing. I love those pillows right there. I would like to change the artwork out on behind my TV at home. This Home Goods is a little bit more people. This is pretty. Okay, so I was actually coming in here to look for some kitchen essentials. I'm the basket queen. I was looking for baskets too. We will see what we can find. Let's head towards the kitchen essentials. Also on the vlog today, we're going to do part 2 of blended families, so you guys can hear what we're going to talk about, the rest of the questions from blended families. I love this. This is so nice, and this lid is amazing. How much is this pot? Not bad. 25. Yeah, I love pots. So pretty. But that orange one got my heart. Let's see what kitchen essentials. Ooh, wouldn't that overwhelm you? Back vlogging. So, you guys know how I feel about this dish towel situation. I like to change them out every now and again. These are pretty for the spring. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, I've had a pink chair in my kitchen. Love these little pink pineapples. The pink chair is like a memorabilia of my mom. So she's not here with me anymore, but the pink chair reminds me that she's still a part of my life. I'd like to switch over and just use dishcloths for place of paper towels, but that's tough. I've seen a few people do it, but I don't know how they're doing it. It's very tough. See, when you don't have your electronics and you're hanging out with mom and daddy and this is what you're doing, and I was just telling him that, sometimes not having electronics, makes you talk more and be more vocal and, spend that time with your parents. So he's finding something to do while we're still kind of looking around and shopping, because the oldest teen is having brunch or lunch/dinner with friends for a birthday party today at the Cheesecake Factory. So aren't you big time? So I'm still looking at some different little things right here for here come my bestie, for some wall art to change in the living room a little. So we'll see.
Okay, so I am coming to the end of this video. So what you probably will see before this is me doing a little bit of shopping at Home Goods. But we're going to finish this part 2 of blended families and finish the last questions that we've gotten for blended families. And so the next question is, how do you decide on discipline? And it's funny because we struggled with this in the beginning when it came to disciplining the boys and feeling comfortable disciplining each other's children. But and guys, I'll be honest, you know, there are times when we still come to some struggles with that, but we're way past beginner struggles than, you know, where we are today with almost being 10 years in. So I'll let my husband kind of tell you how he feels about the discipline side when you're disciplining someone else's child, or maybe a child, like I said, the child that you didn't bring into the world, but you know.
My mom always said if she is in care of those children, she needs to treat them as their own, and the other party needs to trust that she's going to treat them like their own. Those weren't her exact words, but that's really the gist of it. My family has always been tight-knit, and growing up, my house was kind of like an open door. Anybody's welcome, but there are expectations for anybody that walks through the door. And being the fact that we are raising boys for boys, as a man, I took that as a personal challenge, and I took it as if God wanted me to rear them. I grew up in a predominantly female family, so I saw that perspective, but I also had a very strong grandfather. He was the patriarch of the family, so it's kind of like you have to not be the dominant male. You have to kind of see it from both perspectives, so to speak. And I'm not saying be easy or be hard or anything like that, but you have to realize that your children are going to carry on your legacy. So it's a matter of just making sure it's the right type of legacy. So it was uncomfortable at the very beginning, but I think we've worked on it, and we don't do anything unless we talk to each other. Prime example, just this past week, a few of our boys did some things that we didn't agree, actually the past week or two, dealing with grades in school and things like that. So I make it a point to talk to her and keep her in the loop, and I'm not just going to say, well, this is my kid, let me do this, or I'm the man of the house. I'm not going to do that. It's just an open line of communication all the time. So it's just a lot of communication, but once you have that initial uncomfortableness, once that's out the way, you can just be like God wanted you to be, and that's just being a good parent and making sure your kids are doing what they're supposed to do, and that they're representing us in the right way.
So to kind of piggyback off of that, we're not like the beating parents, but if there comes a time when you need your butt busted, you will get your butt busted. And we believe in that. Our boys, they have enough fear, of us to kind of really think through decisions before they make the decisions. Sometimes they're still kids, and they're gonna make mistakes, and they're gonna do stuff they're not supposed to do. Our kids are not walking this earth as perfect souls, so we don't want you to think that we have just the most perfect kids. I do think that Jerral and I have done a great job with putting in their minds the things that should be planted there, and a great job with just kind of building them in such a way that everyone else that interacts with them can see the building process. So guys, we're both teachers, and we come across, so many kids during the course of a year. And, I'm gonna be honest, there's some kids you're wondering what the parents are doing at home. Seriously, I have to put that out there, because you're wondering the raising part, or you have kids that are, only children, that sometimes they feel very entitled. And, in my classroom, there's no entitlement, neither in Jerral's classroom. It's kind of like we're breaking the entitlement spirit. But I don't want you to think our boys don't get spankings or they don't get their butt busted or anything like that, because they do. And, if somebody, has a bad tone, or they, don't make good decisions, or, it got to be a quick snapback, somebody might get popped, or, I don't want this to be like a false video where you think that we have these perfect children, because we don't. They're still growing, they're going to make mistakes, and we still have to guide them in the right direction, and we still have to give them, our love, but our love with God in mind. And so, we just continue to teach that, to them, and we continue to express that to them, and just how we feel about how they're going to grow up and what kind of men they're going to be one day. The next question is, what boundaries are important for the ex? I think that, Jerral and I have learned quite a bit about exes, and, I'm not going to lie, it was a rough ride, in the very beginning, from the first day jump, wherever you want to start. But it's all a learning process. And, once you kind of close off certain gates and don't allow certain things to take place in your home, then I think that the people on the outside kind of understand where you're coming from, and they have to do nothing but respect what you have in place at your home. And Jerral and I do the same thing. We try to respect what they're doing at their homes, and we try to, stay out of, their business and how they handle their families. And long as my children are safe and they have a safe place to stay, and that they're doing okay while they're away from me for that duration, those few days. Same thing for especially, my boys' dad doesn't even live here near us, but the other two boys, their mom stays, within the area. But the same for them, long as they're safe and they're doing okay. But the boundaries are, we just don't let people in financially. You can't really just tell us what we're gonna do financially, and we don't let them in. What other places other than being financial?
Tell us what rules apply in our house or things like that, and just trusting that no matter which children are in our house, we're going to love them and take care of them. And that's something that's understood, and that's never going to be questioned. So things like that, just trusting that everything that we do is for the betterment of those kids, and it's going to make them a better man. That took a lot of time, simply because people view that as their most prized possession, which they honestly are, because that, like I said earlier, that's your legacy. But on the same token, just trusting us that we're doing everything to better them also. And even though they're away from one parent, just understanding and learn from the process that we're parents too, and we're the other side of the family tree, so to speak. But just understand that everything that we do is going to benefit them.
And it's out of love. And the thing about that is, I think that when you're married to someone and you're no longer with them, it's almost like they feel as though they don't know you any longer, or you're not the same person that they married so many years ago, and they think you're going to murder their children. And that's not true, because you can have those thoughts. You can have those thoughts, but remember, you trusted to have those children with that person, and you have to trust that they're going to do the right thing and parent them and send them back home in one piece. And the boundaries, like I said, are financial boundaries. They're discipline boundaries. You can't, telling people how to spank their children or what to do. And guys, I know this and I think something that we need to kind of go back a little bit and address is that, yes, Jerral and I will spank each other's children. So That's not, because I know that's a big question that people ask, like, will you spank, your husband's boys? Yes. And I give him the opportunity or whatever the time he needs to spank my boys and get them in line. And these are boys. And somebody else may do something different in their house, and that is okay. But this is what goes in our house. We've been in our boys' lives too long to let certain things be bypassed at this point. So, if you're like at a certain point where you're like 5, 6, 7 years in, and that's still a struggle, I'm gonna probably recommend counseling, because if you love that person and you brought them in, then you gotta know and trust that they're not gonna break your children in two, and they're gonna whoop them or spank them or whatever word you want to use in such a way that's still gonna be love mixed in it. So I want to clarify that, because I know some people may ask or kind of wonder in their mind if we spank each other's children. Yes. They've been getting spankings, I'm going to be honest, probably from the beginning. So let's get that off the table.
One good thing about our children, they learn from it, so it's not a
recurring thing. Yeah, it's not a recurring event. So y'all, our boys are very, very smart. Like, once they get that one spanking, it's kind of like, I learned from that and I'm not going back down that road again. So we don't have to issue a lot of those spankings. But there are a time or two where people get popped. I mean, it's some boys in this house that are taller than me, and I'm the mama. So it's no way of getting around that. It's no way of getting around it. So as far as I said, like the boundaries, it's financial boundaries, it's discipline boundaries, it's respecting what we do and not trying to impede or push your opinion on us when I'm not impeding or pushing my opinion onto you. So just keeping that in mind, and I try to keep that in mind when my boys go visit their dad. But let's go on to the last question. Blended family deal breakers.
That, I think, depends on that individual. Being that I've been blessed so many times, just immensely, ever since I met her and since we've been together, I really didn't have a deal breaker, simply because I knew I needed somebody strong in my corner, and I knew what a blessing she was, not only for me, but my boys and even my family. So I really didn't have a deal breaker. It was just making sure that me and her were on the same playing field, so to speak, in our expectations and our rules and our goals and how our children represented the family. So I know it's different for every person, but once my mind is made up, I'm not going to let anyone tell me otherwise. And that's the way I view this marriage. I'm not going to let anybody ruin it. I'm not going to let anybody put a damper on it. The worst they can make us do is just talk about it and work it out. But there wasn't any deal breakers for me, simply because I knew that God brought me here for a reason, and he wasn't just gonna he didn't have me just play house, so to speak. I knew it was gonna be a blessing, so I didn't have any deal breakers.
And this is kind of like a 3-part question. There weren't really any deal breakers for me. I can definitely say this: Jerral is what I prayed for. And ladies, I have to put this out here. If you are single, or you're in a relationship, or you're not in a relationship, or maybe you just got out of a relationship that didn't work, and you're ready to be married, or you're ready to, that maternal instinct is, kind of ticking and clocking and going away, pray about that man. Don't just accept, what's out there, or don't just accept the least amount, but pray about, what you would like to have in your life. And that means that praying about what type of person you want to soak up your presence. And, be specific. Be specific about, this man. And, it's easy. And I've said this before to several of my friends. It's easy to have just a man. I mean, even Betty Wright would sing that song. It's easy, to just have just a man. But I think it's more to it. I think that we should be praying for a just man. And, you know, I prayed for Jerral, and I was very specific in how, what I needed and wanted, you know, in not just my spiritual life, but just my emotional well-being, the social aspect. And I wanted a husband I could get to know and one that I could grow with. So it wasn't just I just want a man because I just need a man, and you know, and all these things. I just want a man so he can rub my butt, and that wasn't what I was looking for. That's nice and all, but we had to make a bigger connection, and it had to be more of a spiritual, deeper connection. And this is something I needed, and man, did God bless me tenfold. So, you know, don't skip that part. Make sure you pray about that man. Now, we don't do drama. You know, part of this question is drama. Jerral and I don't do drama, because drama just, you know, we don't do well in drama. I get a temper, or, you know, I got a real fast clap back. So, you know, we just don't do drama. So we just kind of stay, you know, we say our piece, and then we move on. And then we're done from that, you know, because I'm not going to say we're free and clear of it, because sometimes it follows us. But we just don't let it get too close. So that's all I can kind of say about that. But we don't do drama. Challenges, you're always going to have challenges. And I think Jerral he just said that before we turn on the camera.
It's going to happen no matter what. Even on a good day, there's going to be a challenge. But at times we have to say, well, God knows what's going on. He brought us here, and he's going to bring us through it. But at times you got to wonder, okay, it doesn't seem like this God works. It might be the devil or something like that. But like I said earlier, I wasn't going to let anybody else say what my life was going to be like, or dictate how happy I was in life, or my outcome. I'm bullheaded and stubborn in that regard, but I'm also faithful, and I just knew God knew what I wanted before I even knew. And a lot of the things, all her talents, all her gifts, things that I didn't even know I wanted, but once we became a couple and we saw, okay, this is going to be something great, I realized what a gift I had just having her with me, you know. So challenges are going to be there, but we're the type that never just going to say, let me pack my bags and I'm gone. That was something that I've seen several, and I personally know people that would put limits like that. We never did that, and I don't think we ever will. I'm confident that I know we never will, but there's never going to be anything, some kind of challenge that makes me leave or makes her leave. We're always going to talk it out and work it out. So.
And the last thing is blessings. You know, like I said before, ladies and gents, is that this has been a blessing, more of a blessing than I could ever imagine. It's just been, I have to say that Jerral and I we're better together than apart, just because we've accomplished quite a bit of things together that we never thought we could accomplish. I mean, this past year or two, we bought our forever home, and that was something we thought was out of our reach. And I just, like I said, I think we've been blessed far greater than we could ever imagine. And you know, we launched our own business recently, and that's something that we thought, I don't know if we can handle that, but we're handling it. And you know, we're even still trying to see it grow even more. So I just want to tell you guys, keep pushing, keep growing, and you know, keep God first. And you know, I'm always going to say to you guys before we sign off, go to shopvault28.com. There's 60% off sale. Items are moving quickly. Also, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting on? Subscribe so you can get all this juicy gossip. And then also, if you have not hit that bell button, make sure you hit that bell button so you get the notifications when I upload a new video. My upload days are Fridays and Sundays. That's the best for me because I'm a school teacher and I cannot shoot YouTube videos during the week. But trying to be consistent is key for me to grow this channel and grow a subscriber base and grow you guys out there that want to hear this kind of information, this kind of content. So, you guys, I'm going to tell you that peace, Until I see you again on next Friday with my Friday series featuring 3 drugstore favorites in that series. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.